The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fall is a season of gathering that brings us together with warmth and color. So whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or a special event, celebrate your friends and family with a gorgeous bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to find your reason and brighten someone's day with exclusive offers and great values on bouquets and arrangements. To order today, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Hun, looks like the neighbor's kid hit a home run into our windshield.
Better call the insurance company.
We have the one with the leopard mascot, right?
No, it's a tiger?
Doesn't it have spots?
A cheetah?
Maybe it was Stripes.
Some insurance companies are known for their mascots. At NJM, we're known for a straightforward claims experience our customers love.
Just called them. It's a cougar, and we're not covered.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit NJM.com to see if you could save up to 20% on your auto insurance.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
You have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Hey, I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And what are our bongs? You fly the flags at half mast. Are our bongs like half full this week for Norm Macdonald?
You could half pack a bowl, right? Or the bong or whatever.
We're rolling half.
What's the bowl part of the bong called? That's just a bowl, right?
Yeah, just the bowl.
That's the bowl.
The weed holder. I don't know.
So if I was to say let's pack a bowl, that could be either like a pipe or it could be a bong. I've never considered it to be either. That's all I'm getting at. Like,
Or just say we're packing one up for Norm. How about that?
well, all right, yeah. Yes, whatever the appropriate nod would be, we definitely have to acknowledge the passing of a legend.
Oh yeah, and out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
I mean, he knew he was sick. I don't think the rest of us
I'm
knew
pretty
he was
sure he
sick.
knew.
Yeah.
I hope he knew. Or not. I mean, maybe it was sudden for him too.
Well,
maybe that was better.
If it was out there Norm Macdonald had cancer, I did not know until this week.
I did not. Like, I felt like there were rumors about him being sick, but that was probably just to explain his behavior, which most people chalked up to him just being like,
Well, he's a nut anyway, yeah.
Oddball, introvert, never knew if he was actually going to show up for something, turns down parts. There's no telling what of the behavior that we've seen from him was just Norm or was Norm not feeling 100%. And but that's how it should be, right? I mean, he did it like Chadwick Boseman. And whatever floats your boat. I'm not trying to tell like anybody how to deal with their illness, but I can imagine if I was in that situation, I wouldn't want people that I didn't know knowing that about me.
Yeah, it's your choice whether or not you want to tell like what Freddie Mercury told the world he had AIDS like 2 days before he died. It's your choice
Right.
if you want to just go at it yourself. It's your business, really.
It seems, especially if you're doing any kind of artistic work, like whether you're thinking it consciously or not, anyone who's making any kind of art is doing it as some sort of legacy. You want to leave some sort of permanent mark on the world, that something that people could look at or listen to or read or watch or whatever after you're gone and go, what a great guy. We lost an important person. And yeah, you don't want all of your work to be shrouded in illness, right? Like I'm sure Chadwick Boseman just wanted to make as many good movies as he could with the time that he had. Not read stories about how Chadwick Boseman perseveres through cancer treatment in order to make a superhero movie.
It's probably you don't want people to make a fuss, and you don't want
a lot of that too. It's generational thing. That's a very good point too. It's not just about the person's image, but I think Norm's more of our generation of like, we don't like
I got cancer.
that
you
type
don't.
of
Why
attention.
do you got to deal with it? Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but his delivery, right? That was Norm. That was the big thing about Norm Macdonald. Like that was just his delivery on everything. That was
the thing about. I mean, the best thing you can say about any comedian, I think, is that you can't take their jokes and just put them into somebody else's mouth.
No,
he's
own
very
style.
Much, he's very much a Gilbert Gottfried type of comedian, like brilliant mind, odd delivery, and just can come up with stuff that nobody else is going to come up with.
I mean, and definitely one of the best Weekend Update hosts ever. Like, he's easily one of the top 3.
Well, that's a very divided opinion. I mean, he was not a popular host at the time.
Oh, I know. I mean, I thought it was hilarious. I was upset when he got fired, but I mean, there's his boss. Overall, I think he might have been a little. I think if Norm Macdonald gets exposed to us maybe 5 years later, he blows up a little more.
Yeah.
Like, I think as far as where humor was, Norm was a tad bit ahead of his time.
I was trying to kind of nail down, like, what is his humor? What is his style? What is
Deadpan.
he actually doing? Well, Deadpan was a big thing for him later in his career, doing stand-up. I think that was part of it when he was doing like SNL and other things earlier on.
That dry delivery.
Yeah, but there was also, I think Deadpan was just part of the deconstruction of comedy. Like, did you see when he did the roast of Bob Saget?
Oh, yeah. He just brought up a book, like an insult book or something.
He might have done that at another time, but I just watched this recently.
Wasn't it like a book of retirement jokes?
He was doing, he had note cards, right? And he was like very obviously like holding the note cards up and reading from them. And all the jokes were like, they were bad jokes. They weren't even like, they were just old jokes.
It was a giant bit. It was a bit.
I thought the bit was going to be that these were all jokes that were pulled from like old, roasts back in the day of like, the Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and all those guys, the Rat Pack type of those roasts. But and then they were in that style. But what he was really doing actually was, and he says at the end that he just couldn't make fun of somebody as nice as Bob Saget, and he just had a lot of respect for him. And even in a situation where everybody was like, no, it's okay, we were making fun of him because we love him, he couldn't do it. And so that's why he wrote all those bad jokes. But also, if you watch it, he tells one bad joke after another, and it just keeps getting funnier.
Well,
right?
He had that Letterman, like, I understand like I told you, I've never really
the repetition thing.
Like been a Letterman guy, but I understand that when Norm did it, I got it. Like, Norm would lean into the bad joke. Like, if he was dying, he was just fucking then we're full bore.
It's Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Like, Andy Kaufman's going to come out and he's going to put on a Mighty Mouse record and he's going to lip sync along with it. And, people are going to watch it and they're going to go, what is he doing? But at a certain point, he's probably going to stop doing this, right? Because it's all making us feel awkward, and he's going to break, and then he's going to tell us what he's actually here for or something. And when he doesn't, that's when people start cracking up. It's like, it starts with nervous laughter, right? And that's what happens during. And so when Norm is telling these jokes at the Saget roast, he's deconstructing humor, right? And what he's actually showing us too, whether he intended to or not, is that it's not really about the joke at all, right? Like, I could tell, usually when we share jokes these days, it's other people's jokes. Oh, I saw this comedian, I saw this movie, there was a joke, here's the joke in it. And you can tell it and get a laugh from the other person, but it's usually because they're thinking of like, oh, here's a Jerry Seinfeld joke. Oh yeah, I can picture him saying it in his voice. That sounds really funny. And they laugh, right? Mm-hmm. If you just go around telling those jokes as your own, they're probably not going to land. It's about the person. And so even though Norm was up there telling bad jokes, every time he focused on somebody, they would start cracking up because they just think that Norm is fucking hilarious. And he does like anti-comedy, right?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, I'll tell you, podcast, well, Drew and Mike, they've been going through Norm the last couple of days, and they were just going through all this weekend update stuff. Like, I'm in the car just, like, gut laughing, just because I forgot how, because, too, the anti-comedy, like, when he was, the runs they were going through, there's YouTube clips of Norm just going to town on OJ and Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And yeah, the comedy was just remember, this guy's a murderer, but it was always how he was delivering it.
Right.
There was no joke. Just a reminder, O.J. Simpson is a murderer.
The punchline was, because he's a murderer.
Like today, Michael Jackson, because he's a homosexual pedophile.
Well, that was definitely a point of contention. There was a lot of talk after he was fired from his gig, not only as the host of Weekend Update, but off of SNL completely. And there was a lot of fingers being pointed at, I think he was a producer or something. I was reading about it on Wikipedia. His last name's Ohlmeyer.
Don Ohlmeyer.
Don Ohlmeyer, right?
Yeah, didn't he have, wasn't he like friends with OJ? Wasn't that half the problem?
Yeah. So there was definitely a connection between Ohlmeyer and OJ. And Norm Macdonald was told, to stop doing the OJ jokes, so he did more. Well, apparently that's what he does. Yeah, like you tell him not to do something, and he does it twice as much. We've all had friends like that, I think.
Oh yeah. What I want to know is, his monologue when he came back to host like the following year is like legendary. I don't know, like was that scripted or did he like go rogue?
I don't know. Was it
the one
pertaining to what we're talking about?
Yes.
Well, let me wrap this up then, because so he was let go at the same time. A friend of his that wrote for the show as well, and actually was writing a lot of the Weekend Update material. They were both axed at the same time. And let's see, what was his name? I just had it here. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter. Apparently, they were both spouting off their opinion that they were fired because of the OJ stuff after they were let go. Norm obviously having a bigger profile, he was saying this stuff on Letterman and the big radio show of the day. What the fuck? Yes, Howard Stern. Forgot his name. Yeah, so he was going on Letterman and Stern saying this, but years later was quoted as saying, in all fairness to him, meaning Ohlmeyer, my update was not an audience-pleasing, warm kind of things. I did jokes that I knew weren't going to get bigger reactions. So I saw Ohlmeyer's point. Why would you want some dude who's not trying to please the audience? And I definitely understand that, because if you're a fan of SNL and you really like the Weekend Update sketch or segment, then you probably think that Norm Macdonald is the worst host of that segment ever. If you think that the Weekend Update segment is only funny dependent on who is hosting, then you might think that Norm was the best.
I'd like to point out right now that I am on Newsweek.com, and monologue is spelled Monolog. Newsweek.com.
Are you sure they're talking about somebody speak? Maybe they only have one, like when you have one log in the
headline
fireplace.
Is Norm Macdonald's SNL monologue after he was fired goes viral.
Maybe he only had one log at SNL. He was like, that's my log, nobody touch it.
Yeah, I have one wooden log.
I have one wooden log. Well, while you're looking that up, I'm going to go through some of the rest of his bio. So after leaving SNL, he did Dirty Work with Bob Saget and Artie Lang. Don't remember if I saw that. Have you seen Dirty Work?
Yeah, and it's got Chappelle's in it. And
yeah, right.
What's her name? Elaine Stritch, the chick who played Alec Baldwin's mom on 30 Rock.
Yeah, I saw this movie. I totally saw this.
Like it definitely it was an underground. Like it was all right.
I did not remember it until today.
It was all right. Now there are some people that would hear me say it's all right, and then they come across the room at me and tell me, it's a comic treasure. But I guess it's dark. It's
right.
It's not exactly
Well, that was Chris Farley's last movie.
Oh, really? I thought his last movie was like Beverly Hills Ninja or some shit.
Well, there's always, every time an actor dies while they're still working, there's like the last movie that they worked on, and then there's the last movie that gets released. So it might have been this was like the last thing that he worked on, and then Three Ninjas came out after that, or vice versa. Who knows? He worked with Chappelle again on Screwed. That one I'm pretty sure I didn't see.
I got the monologue. You want to hear it?
Yeah, hit me with the monologue. So this is him coming back to host for the first time since being fired, right?
Yeah, October 23rd, 1999.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're very kind. What's that? Oh, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That is my name. When the people here asked me to do the show, I gotta say, I felt kind of weird. I don't know if you remember this, but I used to actually be on this show. I used to do the weekend update news routine. You remember that? And yeah, that's where I did the make-believe news jokes. That was me, right? So then, a year and a half ago, right, I had a sort of a disagreement with the management at the NBC. I wanted to keep my job, right? And they felt the exact opposite. So you see, they fired me because they said that I wasn't funny, Now, with most jobs, I could have had a hell of a lawsuit on my hands for that, but see, this is a comedy show. So they got me, But now, this is the weird part, right? It's only a year and a half later, and now...
Like, that would be reasonable for any other job.
So I wondered, I go, hey, wait a second here. Hey! I go, how did I go in a year and a half from being not funny enough to be even allowed in the building to being so funny that I'm now hosting the show? How did I suddenly get so damn funny?
Did he say goddamn and they bleeped it?
Yeah.
It was inexplicable to me, because a year and a half, let's face it, is not enough time for a dude to learn how to be funny. And it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So, yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later. Okay, so let's recap. The bad news is, I'm still not funny. The good news is, the show blows. All right, folks, we got a bad show for you tonight. Dr. Dre, Snoop Doggy Dogg, and Eminem are here.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Brilliant.
That wasn't Rogue, right? They had to, SNL had to be like, all right, we get it.
You gotta imagine if you're hiring Norm at this point to host, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like, you had to fire him to get him to stop making jokes about OJ. What makes you think you have any input as to what comes out of his mouth when the cameras are rolling?
Yeah, especially in this situation, what makes you think you're not fair game? And
yeah.
That monologue is legendary. I thought it was great. And then two, Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
And that's impressions go, that's a shit impression. That's not really even an impression of Burt Reynolds.
I've never heard him do an impression. Yeah. All he does is chew gum.
Yeah.
okay, not to belabor the hosting thing, but why was he hosting? I mean,
I think that might have been one of those movies were coming out, Screwed or Dirty Work.
Yeah. Well, it says Dirty Work was 98. 2000 was Screwed. So I don't know. There was nothing, like I'm looking at his bio. Earlier in 1990, he made a cameo appearance on Man on the Moon.
Maybe they just fired that dude and were like, hey, come host a show. Because that guy's gone.
Well, no, I think what I'm getting at is that it's not anywhere near a joke. It's the absolute truth. There's not even a reason to have him on. Like, that's how bad the show was at the time. They're like, let's get a guy that we fired for no reason. There's not anything that he's promoting. He hasn't had, like, I'm not saying he was a failure after SNL, but like usually, you know, when you come back to host, it's because you're coming back because, you know, you made your big movie or whatever.
Yeah, maybe they were just like,
but yeah, it was exactly that. Like, and Norm Macdonald called him out on it in the opening monologue. But yes, Turd Ferguson.
Yes. Just everybody wore the big hat.
Yeah.
It's a big hat. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah. He didn't even really have a whole lot of memorable lines as Daryl Hammond as Sean Connery. He got all the really memorable lines, you know, misreading the answers and talking about Alex Trebek's mother. Like, all Norm had to do was chew gum and look like a badass.
Yeah. Give one-word clipped answers.
Yeah.
Do that stupid laugh every once in a while.
JFK? Yeah, the stupid quick laugh. Nah.
Yeah, and as a guy who really didn't have recurring bits, it was his one recurring bit, right?
Right. Well, he didn't have any. There were no characters.
Well, he wasn't a sketch
that
guy.
I can think of. Yeah, he was not. He was hired as a writer, right? I believe so. I mean, I know that he was a stand-up, but they would hire stand-ups all the time that wouldn't get on the show.
Yeah, I mean, he ended up becoming because he ended up they like fired a bunch of people in like 94. Like, didn't they fire like Sandler and Farley and all them, and like wasn't Norm?
Well, according to Wikipedia, he joined in 93 and performed impressions of Larry King, Burt Reynolds, David Letterman, Tarantino, Charles Carrot, and Bob Dole.
I do remember Bob Dole. Actually, I remember most of those, actually.
Yeah. Bob Dole is just Burt Reynolds moving less and not chewing gum.
Yeah, just being meaner.
So yeah, he was brought on as an actual full cast member. McDonald's version of Weekend Update often included references to prison rape, crack whores, and the Germans' love of Baywatch star David Hasselhoff.
I do remember the Hasselhoff jokes. Hey, you got
note to self.
Okay,
the tape recorder.
All right, I got to hear some. We got to hear some of this. I mean, obviously we're not going to listen, but this video is called 35 Minutes of Why Norm Macdonald Got Fired on Weekend Update.
Sports terms, why you got fired. You were fucking with OJ too much. That's exactly why you were fired, man.
Well, I don't know.
That's his buddy.
Yeah, it's his buddy.
Yeah, well, that's why you got canned.
OJ's a good guy. I mean, he's not. Potential jurors for the O.J. Simpson case were asked to fill out a 75-page jury questionnaire this week. In the entire state of California, only one person got a perfect score. Chow Ming Wu, who after the trial plans to attend Caltech. By the way, you can now purchase a bronze statue of the Juice for only $3,395. And for an even $5,000, you can buy one that Al Cowlings has kissed the ass of. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking.
Did they actually do a mock-up?
Yes.
With him with the shoes on the knees?
Oh, yeah.
The crowd is torn. According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses, or treat.
Nobody liked that one.
And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty. In other book news, Prince Charles released an autobiography in which he states that he never loved Princess Di and that his father pressured him to marry her. The book is entitled, Of Course O.J. Did It. I mean, come on. In his book, O.J. Simpson says that he would have taken a bullet or stood in front of a train for Nicole. Man, I'm going to tell you, that is some bad luck when the one guy who would have died for you kills you. That's... You don't get worse luck than that. And O.J. announced this week that he's coming out with a new book called I Want to Tell You. And if it's successful, O.J. will work on yet another book entitled From Football to Prison, My 25 Years of Showering with Other Men.
Not bad.
And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. Judge Ito was interviewed this week by a local TV
It doesn't work as well when they're all spliced together like this because you're like, okay, I know this joke's going to end in O.J.
On TV with his case still pending, Ito said, maybe not, but how appropriate is it to kill your ex-wife?
Yeah, Norm.
He did a lot of voice work, too. Didn't know. He was the original voice of Death in Family Guy.
Yes, he was before Corolla. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he also did, he was in the Dr. Dolittle movies as Lucky. I don't remember what Lucky was.
Means he was an animal.
Yeah.
I saw that piece of shit.
The Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah, the Eddie Murphy
The
one.
Eddie Murphy one, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody saw that shit. 90s?
God.
Everybody went to see an Eddie Murphy movie.
I paid money
no matter how shitty it was.
I paid money for that.
They made 3 of those shits. Oh, wait a minute. Third one is not with Eddie Murphy. Kyla Pratt.
Oh, yeah, because isn't it a new one?
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.
State Farm, habla María.
Hola María, tengo una buena y una mala noticia.
La buena primero.
Descubrí el food truck más delicioso de la ciudad.
¿Y cómo lo encontraste?
Esa es la mala noticia. Le choqué por detrás en un parking.
No te preocupes. State Farm está aquí para ayudar.
Gracias, María. Disculpe, Chef, ¿tiene más salsita por ahí?
Llama hoy a Cándida Seymour, tu agente de State Farm en Union City.
State Farm, habla María.
Hola María, tengo una buena y una mala noticia.
La buena primero.
Descubrí el food truck más delicioso de la ciudad.
¿Y cómo lo encontraste?
Esa es la mala noticia. Le choqué por detrás en un parking.
No te preocupes. State Farm está aquí para ayudar.
Gracias, María. Disculpe, Chef, ¿tiene más salsita por ahí?
Llama hoy a Cándida Seymour, tu agente de State Farm en Union City.
If you want to stop the flu and that nasty coronavirus too, be careful how you share and wash your hands with care.
Yeah.
Don't bug me. Don't forget the soap. Don't bug me. Tell all those bugs no. Hey, you bugs. Don't bug me.
How do you prevent the flu and coronavirus too? Wear a mask and keep your distance from others. Wash your hands as often as possible and get a flu shot for the flu. Sponsored by Mountainside Medical Center and Montclair Department of Health and Human Services.
State Farm, habla María.
Hola María, tengo una buena y una mala noticia.
La buena primero.
Descubrí el food truck más delicioso de la ciudad.
¿Y cómo lo encontraste?
Esa es la mala noticia. Le choqué por detrás en un parking.
No te preocupes. State Farm está aquí para ayudar.
Gracias, María. Disculpe, Chef, ¿tiene más salsita por ahí?
Llama hoy a Cándida Seymour, tu agente de State Farm en Union City.
ChristopherMedia.net.
The Weedsman Podcast.
They're remaking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but they're doing it as a drama.
What?
You know why? Dude, like, you're right. Comedy's dead. And this proves it because they have to reboot a comedy as a drama because it's going to, the original show dealt with race in ways that, we couldn't joke about today. So, they're going to have to make it a drama in order to deal with those issues and not seem like they're making fun of it.
I want to know how they're going to deal with the Will Carlton dynamic. Because,
they're going to do whatever they fucking want because all this is another fucking drama that they're stamping a name on that people recognize. That will have zero to do with Fresh Prince.
Because we'll just say it. He would always give Carlton shit for not being black enough.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, the Carlton dance is a thing for a reason. We all know what it is.
No, look, we know what happened. Everybody liked the idea of rebooting that show, right? It was a big hit at the time. Everybody loved it. Everybody watched it. Who doesn't want to reboot it? They got a bunch of writers together and they said, all right, where do we start? Well, let's watch the original episodes and get some inspiration. And they watched them all and they went, oh, this is problematic. This is making me feel uncomfortable now. Oh, boy, this doesn't hold up in the light of today. I don't know. We can't do that. Well, we can't do that joke. We can't do that today. And then they decided, let's just do a drama.
But
let's just take out the jokes because we can't do any of these jokes.
Yes, you can.
We can't do anything close to it.
Yes, you can.
Probably the people who hired him.
Do we have to revive Lenny Bruce's corpse and do this all over again? Fucking 60 years later? Jesus Christ. We gotta reanimate George.
Well, the last thing the world needed was another subscription service. Oh. And certainly not one for tacos, but that's what Taco Bell's plan is.
I saw this. How's this work? What is it? Give me the rundown. So it's 30-day taco subscription. What does that entail?
Well, they're testing them out in different markets, anywhere from $5 to $10 per month. So they're probably going to land somewhere at like $7 or $8.
Oh, all right.
For
the big question.
One taco a day.
I'm out.
Right.
Because my main question is, okay, is this all I can eat tacos for 30 days?
Nope.
Get the fuck out. Who eats one taco? A child?
Well, I mean, the math might work out for you, but who plans their taco eating in that fashion? Like,
if I go every day this week, I'll have enough tacos to have a meal.
You're telling me that every time that I want tacos and go to Taco Bell, I could save $1.69 by spending $8 now?
When I buy tacos, I buy like minimum 3. Who the fuck buys one taco?
Well, nobody's saying that you only have to eat one taco. Like, it's just that your taco car is good for one taco a day. So you could potentially eat a taco a day. But I think that the idea being that when you go in, you're going to order more than just the single free taco.
It is. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, if I were maybe like I get a taco 12-pack a week, I'd even do that. Like one free taco 12-pack a week. All right, taco night, one night a week. It's covered, done.
I think it might be a good idea if I worked at like a job where I was coming home late, or if I was going out all the time, and you get like you've already had your dinner and it's kind of late, but you're up and you don't want a whole meal. Like maybe you just hit up the Taco Bell and you get your one free taco every day. I don't know.
Yeah, is this for college kids? Hey, give us $10 a month. You have a taco a day.
It's for people who plan their taco eating by the month, which I don't know who those people are, but I'm sure that, there's something for everyone. So, somebody out there in the world is like loving this and hopes it takes off and never goes away. But that person, that person is insane.
Right. Wait, speaking of subscription services. Oh, Apple TV Plus finally put the right worm on the hook for me. I might be...
What was it?
The Problem with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's coming back to TV. I've already started seeing commercials for it on Peacock. Are you shitting me?
Really?
Yeah, and there's I've already I already added it to my subscriptions. There's a companion podcast to it. I don't know. I didn't realize how much I really liked Jon Stewart till he was gone.
Yeah.
Like, I thoroughly enjoyed his takes on The Daily Show.
Apple TV is so bad at advertising. I don't understand. They get these great shows together, and I don't even hear about them until everybody's already watched them and shit.
Well, it doesn't start, I guess, till September 30th.
I know it doesn't. That it hasn't started yet, but you'd think that they would be fucking plastering that shit everywhere.
Right.
How do I not know about this?
Yeah, because wasn't he going to go just live on a farm in New Jersey and that was it? And now he's back?
Apple TV has got me on Ted Lasso. Is a great show. A lot of fun, really smartly written show. Great cast. Just beautifully produced.
It's a Bill Lawrence show. He's the guy who does Scrubs, but he did Spin City.
Oh, okay.
He's done a bunch of other shit, too.
What else? I mean, I liked the morning show, even though the show was kind of dumb. Like it was one of those shows that had really great moments right alongside really dumb eye-rolling moments. I'm looking forward to they're doing a big sci-fi thing. I can't remember what it was. I think they're adapting one of the like Isaac Asimov series or something like that, some classic sci-fi thing. I don't know. I've been watching it for free because I bought an iPad last year, and it came with a year subscription, which I think they're still doing. I think they're doing that promo again.
But I mean, just the fact, John, but I don't know. Is it going to be weekly? Is it going to be? Well, he's not doing. The whole reason he quit the daily shows, he said that was a grind.
Yeah, I can't imagine him signing up for a daily show.
It's his version of the John Oliver show, his once a week show.
Hopefully, I haven't been watching John Oliver or Bill Maher.
I was about to ask, is John Oliver still on?
Yeah, he's still on, but I don't know what it is. It's just not working for me anymore.
Well, it's you beat the same drums over and over.
Yeah,
you're tired of hearing the same shit. But no, Bill lately, me and Bill have been on the same page the last few months with a lot of shit.
Oh, I haven't disagreed with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I haven't watched the show because I'm just,
COVID politics.
I'm not that interested in it. Yeah.
If they're not talking about politics, they're talking about COVID.
Yep.
Sometimes talking about COVID and politics at the same time.
Well, it's all linked. All right. Are you hearing that noise?
Crickets?
Mm-mm.
That's what I hear.
It sounds like somebody slowly leaking air out of a balloon.
Yeah, I just heard it. Yeah.
I think it's the microphone. Oh, so in cannabis news, the FDA and the CDC issued a warning against Delta 8, which is we've talked about this before, but that's what some people are calling diet weed. It's basically like Delta 9 is that's what we use, the THC that we usually get, the active ingredient, and Delta 8 is just like a less potent form of it. And so Delta 9 THC is actually what's regulated. Delta 8 is able to be sold all over the place, actually. And it's kind of just like buying swag from what I hear.
I talked to somebody today who said it works great.
Yeah? Are they a regular smoker, or do they like... Yeah. So, it might be preferred for some people who just want, maybe they don't smoke on the daily, but they want to have a nice Saturday night, but they don't want to get blasted out of their mind and then pass out on the couch, which if you're not a regular smoker, it's difficult to find that line these days with the increased potency, especially with now, concentrates and all that, or, you take some edible and ends up knocking you on your ass. This, you can just puff on it and get a little bit stoned and stop when you're done.
And then just smoke like a little piece of a joint. Get the same thing.
Yeah.
Take a couple hits, done. But I mean, we're pros, so I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, they what's the warning that they issued? The agencies released documents on Tuesday covering the potential health risks and warning consumers against experimenting with such products. All right. I'm interested.
Are we going to be specific, or just so far I heard Delta 8 bad?
Well, let's see. Here's their actual press release. Number one, here, this is 5 reasons why this is a dangerous, potentially dangerous drug that we should not be experimenting with. Number one, Delta-8 THC products have not been evaluated or approved by the FDA for safe use and may be marketed in ways that put the public health at risk.
You mean
they're concerned about the marketing on it?
You mean like energy drinks?
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that?
You mean like, yeah. Because you've done such a great job regulating fucking caffeine. So,
yeah.
Okay, so that's just chalk it up to a big unknown. Like, well, we, like, you know, if you were to say, you don't know that it's dangerous, they're like, you don't know it's safe. Okay, touche. But we also have a lot of people using it that appear fine. Number 2, FDA has received adverse event reports involving Delta-8 THC containing products. Well, how is that a strong argument? I mean, who knows what adverse event report is?
Yeah, what was the adverse event?
Yeah, reports from both consumers and law enforcement describing 22 patients who consumed Delta-8 THC products. The FDA received adverse reports from 22 reports. Out of how many people are probably using this?
Yeah, that's
22 people. 14 presented to a hospital or emergency room for treatment following the ingestion, which...
Like, this is 14 out of 14. I get the concern.
To be absolutely clear about this, that means that all this means is that person took the drug and that they ended up in the hospital. What else did they do? What other drugs? What activities? What put them in the hospital? None of that is known. Of the 22 patients, 19 experienced adverse events after ingesting Delta-8. Adverse events included vomiting, hallucinations, trouble standing, and loss of consciousness. Yeah, and fucking, you know, Nicki Minaj's cousin's balls swelled up when he got the vaccine.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what if he got the vaccine a couple days later? What would that mean? That his balls would have swelled up before he got the vaccine. Because it's totally possible for 2 things to happen at the same time. It's called a coincidence. It happens.
April and Parks and Rec,
time.
it's possible
Everywhere.
to have 2 things.
Delta-8 THC, this is number 3, has psychoactive and intoxicating effects. Well, that's what we're counting on. So how is that a negative? That's why we bought it.
It's kind of the point.
Number 4, Delta-8 THC products often involve use of potentially harmful chemicals to create the concentrations of Delta-8 THC claimed in the marketplace.
My retort to that would be processed food. Next.
Right. Or, well, also, you know, that's the problem here is that Delta-8 is not regulated, right? So the answer doesn't mean that you ban it. It means that you regulate it like you do other products. Like you currently regulate THC, so why not just regulate the Delta-8 version of it?
I mean, these warnings that they're giving and the numbers that they're giving, because like, what if we did this with the automobile? Well, 2 of these things crashed into each other. We should just stop making this. Be careful. Don't try one of these car things.
Where's the CDC warning on automobiles? Because there were 22 crashes on fucking 94 this morning, probably.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't even know what number 4 actually means. Potentially harmful chemicals to create the concentration. So, I mean, in an unregulated market, people are going to use whatever is cheapest, regardless of how it affects the user. So it's a lot like the arguments they used to make for keeping cannabis illegal. Like, well, there's so much crime around it. Yeah, why is there crime around it? Because you can only buy it illegally because you've made it illegal. So, you know, if you put cannabis in the store, does that mean that the crime follows you into the store? No, because the crime isn't following cannabis. The crime is following the money.
I mean,
number 5...
rational people think that way.
No. Number 5, Delta-8 THC products should be kept out of reach of children and pets. That's not a reason to ban it.
You have to keep regular weed out of reach of children and pets.
You had 4 lousy ideas, and you had to stretch it to get it a list of 5. That's just a recommendation for anything any kind of drug, right?
Yeah.
You buy alcohol, you buy cigarettes, you buy anything with nicotine in it, you buy any prescription medication, whether it's over the counter or not, you keep it out of the reach of those who don't know any better. How is this like... This is like the CDC releasing a report that says like power lines are dangerous because they fall down sometimes.
Look up.
Like, yeah, we knew that.
But I don't see anything.
And that's why we have Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, it seems like whenever the government, whenever something new shows up, people start doing it and the government's not too sure about it. They just go, oh, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Just go, hey, we don't know, be careful. Instead of going, oh, you shouldn't do it.
I'm not sure whose pocket foodsafetynews.com, whose pocket they're in, but I have a feeling this is a government-sponsored website because they have the very inflammatory headline of so-called, quote-unquote, edibles might be infused with dangerous Delta-8 THC marijuana. So they've just gone straight to calling it dangerous. Like the CDC said, we don't know. Could be dangerous. You don't know. We're not going to study it to find out. We're just going to ban it. Just to be safe. But Food Safety News is like, nope, this is out and out dangerous. What you don't know about your edibles could kill you. Tonight at 11. The danger comes from the Delta-8 THC intoxication, which may include the following symptoms. Lethargy. I'm not making this up. This is what they're listing. I know it sounds like a bit. I'm reading their news story.
We're back to like the psychoactive thing. Yeah, we're kind of going for that.
Yep. Also, the guy with the balloons back, apparently. Uncoordinated movements and decreased psychomotor activity. Slurred speech. Increased heart rate, progressing to slowed heart rate. What? Excuse me. Low blood pressure, difficulty breathing, sedation, and coma. Okay, show me. Show me the coma.
Yeah. Who's
in a coma right now?
I want the coma numbers. I want to know how many of these comas have happened. Coma.
And remember, there's only 22 people that have adverse reports of this. So all of these things were all from 22 people. One of those 22 had to have been in a coma. Or maybe they're just making shit up.
I would also like the person who's in the coma. I would like to see their full chart.
Yeah.
I want to see everything that's wrong with them.
No, they're just sitting there in a room making this up. Like, what else could we list? How about coma? We have no proof that any form of THC could put you in a coma. But you don't have any proof that it couldn't.
Right.
So therefore, it makes the list.
Put it on the list.
So, and I think we're going to wrap it up before this mic dies on me. It's going to go full haywire here. Oh, it stopped. But last bit of news, the anti-doping agency that set the regulations that put Sha'Carri Richardson in the unfortunate position of being suspended is reevaluating its stance on cannabis. The World Anti-Doping Agency says that they request. What? Oh, they've had requests from a number of stakeholders in international athletics, asking them to reevaluate.
So man, this fucking here you go, kids. Follow the money.
WADA's executive committee has approved a plan to organize, quote, a scientific review of the status of cannabis. You don't have to do your own science.
Yeah. You
can just look at what's out there and make a determination. You don't.
Plenty of available, reliable science.
All right, but yeah, that's all I got. And now there's 2 balloons apparently in the room.
Okay, so follow us on social media at the Weisman420 on Twitter, at the Weisman Podcast on Instagram. Email us, the Weisman Podcast at ChristopherMedia.net, which is where you go to hit the PayPal button or the Amazon button if you would like to help us out. And it won't cost you anything extra. And wherever you listen to the show, rate it, review it, Tell people about it. Shout it from the mountaintops. Shout it from the rooftops. Shout it from, I don't know,
whatever top you have.
Yeah, whatever.
Shout it from your crop tops.
Yeah. Shout it from your halter tops. Whatever you want to do. Just please rate and review the show. Help people find it. We would appreciate that. Please and thank you. And you can also stay high.
Stay high. It's like a chorus of them now. Alright, well, made it through this show. I'll figure out what's up with this preamp and get better for next. Yeah. One of them. Oh. And then it just stopped. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free? Norwegian Cruise Line is back and sailing this summer. Kick back in the Caribbean or take in the stunning sights in Europe. And with our robust health and safety program, you can cruise confidently. Book today and enjoy 30% off all cruises, free open bar, free airfare, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe. Feel free.
Ships Registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Experience gorgeous, lasting, high-quality hair color with Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code RADIO10.
State Farm, habla María.
Hola María, tengo una buena y una mala noticia.
La buena primero.
Descubrí el food truck más delicioso de la ciudad.
¿Y cómo lo encontraste?
Esa es la mala noticia. Le choqué por detrás en un parking.
No te preocupes. State Farm está aquí para ayudar.
Gracias, María. Disculpe, Chef, ¿tiene más salsita por ahí?
Llama hoy a Cándida Seymour, tu agente de State Farm en Union City.
The Weedsman Podcast.
ChristopherMedia.net.